here's what's so powerful about this idea of memento mori. When you keep death before you, it won't just change the way you think about death in the future, but it'll also change the way you live your life in the now. This idea of memento mori doesn't just mean reflect on the death you will experience in the future, but it also means reflect on the fact that you have already died. If you are in Christ, you have been crucified with Christ, so it is now no longer you that live, but Christ that lives in you. This is why Paul writes this in Galatians 2, verse 20. I have been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. In the life I now live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. Paul says, I've been crucified. I have died to my old self. I have died to my sinful ways. And this life I live is no longer mine, but it is now the Lord's. And for all of us who are in Christ, that same truth applies to us. My wants, my desires, my needs, they are all dead. I now live for Christ. So where Christ calls me to go, I go. What Christ calls me to do, I do. I was bought with a price, so now I live for the one who paid the price for me. And here's what's so beautiful about this idea of living as if you have already died, you have died to your old self, is that when you have died, you have nothing to fear.